That's weird. What's going on, everybody? This
Hey,
is the final reel with Mike and John, and this is our Summer Visions movie marathon. And tonight we'll be doing Moonrise Kingdom, one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies. And joining me as always is Mike from Dag Films. What's going
hello,
on, Mike?
hello. How's it going?
I got a little flustered there at the beginning. Like usually, after you run your intro, it automatically cuts over back over to the main screen. I had to manually click it to get the black screen off. It was weird.
That's a few
Yeah,
seconds there. Yeah.
it's always something. So
Yeah.
hopefully, oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. It's always a little something, something going on. But
But hopefully, you guys might be able to see us on you tonight. You should be able to see us on Mike's channel, Dag Films, and on my channel, Low IQ Media. And we're also streaming to our new channel. If you guys, actually, I haven't put the link in this. I'll have to put the link in tomorrow sometime for our new channel, but you can't search it yet because we have to upload 3 videos, and after 3 videos, it becomes searchable. So you can check us out on the final reel here in a couple of weeks once we get enough. I hate being like that, but we just don't. We're not producing any original content yet for a channel. So
yeah,
if you search for it, you won't be able to find it just yet because YouTube makes you upload 3 videos before it's searchable. So
yeah. I didn't even know that until you said something about that before. So yeah, good times, man. Yeah, I watched Moonrise Kingdom last night. I hadn't seen it in a while. Um, I have this DVD, Criterion DVD of
yeah,
it. I need to upgrade to
Wh-
the Blu-ray.
what's the cover look like? Is it like the Blu-ray? 'Cause I have the
Uh,
Blu-ray here. The
It's it's like that, yeah.
Is it the picture of the beach? I think it's the same picture.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same one. This was actually an
yeah.
ex-library copy that I got. I don't.
That is probably a good find.
Yeah,
Cheap.
yeah, yeah. It was. It's from Illinois. Actually, I found it online, but I need to get the Blu-ray because. But it actually came with all the booklets and uh, all the stuff that came with it, which was. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's really nice. Uh, but Moonrise Kingdom has always been kind of probably one of my favorite of his movies. It's hard to really rank his movies because I kind of like all of them equally because they're all different in each way, and they're all really great in each way. In my personal opinion, there's not one I really don't like.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the same way with me, man. It's just he's a one of a kind director. I mean, he really is. He's just uh,
He's one of the best of contemporary times, at least the best of my lifetime. In our lifetime, he's one of the best contemporary directors I believe out there.
yeah, yeah. Recently, I think on a video, I was talking about that for a minute. So it's like if if there's news of him releasing a movie or Scorsese or Tarantino or um, P.T. Anderson, people like that, I'm always going to be curious, always going to be interested in
Yes.
those, and they usually never disappoint. You know.
Have you got a chance to watch The French Dispatch yet?
Actually, I keep forgetting to pick that up. I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. It's pretty good too. It's like I was saying, they all got their qualities, and I think that movie in a whole. I don't want to tell you much about it and spoil it for you, but the way it's broken up, I think there's different sections of the movie that are better than others, but I
Hmm.
think it's still all together in a whole. It's like 3 chapters essentially, like
Yeah,
storytelling,
yeah,
or play, or well, it's better, more like acts in a play because obviously Wes Anderson. If you watch Wes Anderson movies, at some point when he was a kid that he was really into plays and putting on grandiose plays. I guess I don't know if he actually did that or he witnessed that, and this was an inspiration. I haven't looked through his bio and everything, and
yeah.
in preparation for this,
I
there
believe
is.
I
Go
believe
ahead.
that's true, man. Yeah, because I get that sense of it. on all these movies, like especially Moonlight Kingdom last night when I was watching it. You could really tell it. I mean, some of the even to the part where they were having like a school play or it was a play at the church or something.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of something like that. Either I mean, they're even showing a play happening, you know. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Little background on the movie if you guys have not seen the movie out there. Um, the movie is it takes place on a New England. I was wanting to read the synopsis here, and of course, it doesn't have it listed very easily. I was just going to read a synopsis, but it says it takes place in a New England town, but it's actually a New England, like a island off the shore, and it's kind of like it's got a lot of inlets and things like that. And
Hmm.
excuse me, I got off track there because I was looking for something and didn't find what I was looking for. I apologize. But the movie stars. Let me get the whole cast and crew up here.
Yeah, it's got a great cast. It's got a lot of
I,
great
I'm gonna
people in it.
I'm gonna pull it up here so we can see it.
And you know, it's something that I don't know if somebody went into watching this and have never seen any of
Yeah.
his movies before. I think they might not really get it. They might not understand it, but maybe I don't know. It has a certain pace about it. Um, but like if you're a if you're a Wes Anderson aficionado like I am, you kind of catch on to it and kind of get in its rhythm, you know.
Well, all of his movies like that, just it's to speak about Wes Anderson, just the meticulous nature of his movies. There's a lot of very fine detail in his movies, visually and in the writing process, the dialogue, everything. It's just perfection. This movie was co-written by Roman Coppola,
Hmm.
and it was photographed by Robert Yeoman, which does a lot of his movies. And what else did Yeoman do? He's done some like really big movies. Did he do Air America as well? Did he do that one, or am I thinking?
Air
I'm thinking of
America.
yeah.
Ah,
But he's a beautiful cinematographer. He
oh
does
yeah,
wonderful work.
yeah. He's pretty much worked with Wes Anderson on most of his movies. I think at least a few of them. I think it's funny. I just noticed that there's a map that comes with the movie. I don't know if it has anything to do with it or it's just made up, but there's a little part of the island that's Camp Yeoman. Um, man, what is it? Where's that? Where's that? Oh, Yeoman Lane. There's that lake. I think that's funny. I don't know if they made that up or not, but it's on the map that comes with it. It's the cinematographer's last name.
Yeah,
So I thought that was in. I don't know if that's a coincidence or if it's.
but the cast for this movie was Bruce Willis, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Frances McDormand, Tilda Swinton, Jerry Gilman, Kara Hayward, Jason Schwartzman, Bob Balaban. Excuse me, I always screw his name up. Lucas Hedges and Charlie Gilmore was the main cast.
Yeah. Then it's
If
got
I forgot
all the
anybody else,
kids. Yeah.
a lot of yes, a lot of kids. But the movie centers around this little town, and at the beginning you find out that the lead character is a what they call the khaki scout. He's basically like a bird. Khaki scouts may be real. I don't know. They might be something, but it's supposed to be like Boy Scouts.
Hmm.
But and you find out that one of the troop members has he's run away from and he resigned his post in a very adult manner, and just writes a letter to Edward Norton, who is the Khaki Scout leader. And it's just the visual, just the visual opening of this scene with Edward Norton, and it's basically a tracking shot, and you track horizontally through the campsite. He's going one to each site, inspecting different duties of the Khaki Scouts. And they get more ridiculous as they go along. At first, there's like a latrine, and they got to make sure that this latrine they made works properly. And then it goes on to somebody making a lanyard or something, and he's not having much success. It's just a big knot. Then it moves on to like these kids that are making fireworks. They're making basically like rockets and things. And he's smoking a cigarette while talking to him, and he holds it away from holds it away while he's talking to him. And then he moves on, and another kid's like jumping a dirt bike over a ramp, and so it just keeps getting more ridiculous and ridiculous as it goes on. It's a lot of fun, and just the visual aspects of that. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really inventive, for him, because you didn't have to show all that, but he went the extra mile and kind of showed all the stuff, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but you find out that it's Sam, isn't it? That's his. I believe that's the kid's name.
Yeah,
the kid's name is Sam, and he's ran away, and then it cuts to I may be getting the scenes out of order, but you cut to the, what's the girl's name in the movie? I'm sorry, I've got the cast pulled up right here, and it doesn't matter. Okay, Susie. Yes. The girl's name is Susie. You cut to her household, which is her parents are Bill Murray and Frances McDormand, and I think they're both lawyers, I believe. Live in kind of a nice 2-story house. She's got 2 other siblings, 2 boy siblings, and she's the oldest
girl.
There's 3. There's 3 siblings, 3 boys, and they all seem to be reasonably well mannered, except for her, and she's obviously going through. She's supposed to be probably around 12 or 13 years old, like right around that age. I don't know if they actually say their ages but she's obviously starting to go through, mental changes. And I'm not talking about puberty or nothing like that, but she's like a troublemaker at school, kind of like a troublemaker of sorts, but probably not really a troublemaker in the sense of troublemaking, but her parents perceive this as troublemaking, and she's kind of being in this rebellious stage against her parents. So she ultimately runs away as well. But you find out from a letter that they had conspired together. They become pen pals and conspired together to run away together on this island. So that's kind of where this adventure ensues. They come together, and then they, kind of learn about each other, and they start on this little trek. So it's far above what I can really explain when you get into that aspect of it, the relationship aspect of them. But they're both kind of, and it's almost like it's almost like an adult relationship too, and not graphically adult, but it's like it's a mature kind of relationship between 2 young people, and their fondness for each other without really even knowing each other, but it's kind of like love at first sight kind of thing.
That's what. They're kind of they kind of stand out. They're black, the black sheep, and the boy is. We come to find out that he's actually an orphan, and that he's currently staying with some foster parents, and they basically have had it with him. This was the last straw, him running away from camp and stuff. So at that point, they get a letter at some point saying, that's it. We don't want him to come home. So he's kind of stuck at that point. And then everybody's thinking, man, you're going to give up on him. And, it starts, you start seeing the Bruce Willis character, and you start seeing Edward Norton start thinking about him more and start to care about him more. Because they both seem like they're lonely guys. They need something in their life, and they seem like good guys that would be great dads, and stuff. And
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
But the Bruce Willis character, he's the I liked in some of the documentaries for this movie. They kept talking about how they keep joking. They're like, he's typecast for the role because he plays a police officer, but he plays like this very mundane kind of a nice police officer, just a really nice guy who he just kind of average intelligence guy, but he's means well. But I
Hmm.
mean, he's in an area where there's not going to be any crime. I mean, he really the job is just ceremonial almost. But
Yeah,
he owns the only car on the island, so you see scenes for him driving, and there's really not roads. Like he'll be driving through a forest. It's like a
yeah,
makeshift road, and
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
cool.
I noticed that they don't really show roads. It's kind of interesting. They don't really show it from that aspect. They just really show it like this
Yeah,
place is really rural and very
yeah,
to itself. They don't even have roads, like you said. Yeah, but I didn't really think
yeah.
about that till now.
Yeah, it takes place in '65, I believe. 60.
Hmm.
I can't remember the exact date. It takes place in 1965, I believe. So,
Hmm. Yeah,
if that place exists today, if that's still an untouched island in a couple of years, it'll be covered with luxury homes, and if it's not already, if
yeah,
they allow it. Some places they don't. They actually the government comes in and does their job and be like, hey, these are national preserves. We're not going to
yeah,
muck it up with a bunch of housing and things on it.
yeah.
But
Put a Walmart or something on there. But yeah, that would be a great place. I mean, I would live there. I mean, that looks like a beautiful place.
yeah,
Very serene and everything. And I guess if there's some species of animals or fish in that area, I could see it being a preserved national site, refuge or something. But yeah, that's really cool.
but the Susie characters, she's pretty clever as well. She's always like reading. She's like into reading, listening to records and things like that.
Hmm.
And she figures out before she runs away. She's figured out essentially that her mom is. She has feelings for the Bruce Willis character. They apparently were like childhood friends or possibly childhood you know boyfriend and girlfriend, and they
Hmm.
never. But it was a love that never was, and you
Yeah.
can see there's like you don't know. She insinuates at one point that she might be cheating on her father with him, but they don't really go that far in the movies and show that.
Hmm.
They just show them interacting, like smoking cigarettes together or something, and just.
Yeah.
But she figures this out early on. It's kind of part of. I think it's part of her like psychological issues that's going on. Like her
Hmm.
father's kind of. He's a nice, the Bill Murray character. He's a nice guy, but obviously can fly off the handle, and he
Yeah.
does at a certain point. There's a awesome scene where I think is it after she I forget it. It's after she runs away or after she comes back. I can't remember after they. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but there's a scene where all three of the boys are setting. They're like setting
Oh,
down they're setting down like playing some game on the middle of the floor, and he walks down the stairs and goes into a closet and comes out with an axe, and he's just
yeah.
like, I've got to go outside and cut down a tree.
Yeah, he's got some like J&B scotch in one hand and an axe in the other. I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
But yeah, like you said, I think a lot of this part, like on that part of the family, you're seeing stuff from her eyes. You're seeing it the way she sees her family, and
yeah,
maybe this is what she sees her mom like. Maybe she might be sneaking around on her dad, and then she sees her dad as this. You know, which I thought that was pretty cool. You know, and she
yeah,
just sees her brothers and stuff are just there. They just basically toe the line and just stay. They don't do anything wrong. They just basically do what they do, and she's completely off their little
yeah.
schedule thing of the house or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's a good point.
So they essentially alert so the parents obviously alert the one police officer in town, and they start searching, and plus, plus they have other, there's other things. So, there's other people like seeing air rescue and stuff, and people start flying planes and looking for them, and then, but what's funny is they send out the khaki scouts to find them. Edward Norton and the khaki scout. Well, Edward Norton he really sends the troop out. He don't really send any of the others. Himself. He don't go out himself. So, yeah. And it's pretty funny. There's a scene where the boys all convene together, and they said he's basically saying he tells them no violence. There can't be no violence. And they and then they all kind of after he leaves, they all convene again and said, I don't know about you guys. If we're going after him, I'm not going unarmed. And then the next scene, it cuts to them all walking through a field, and the guy in the front's got it's like a club with nails sticking out everywhere. And then the next guy has like an axe strapped on his back, and the other guy has a bow and arrow. And
yeah, that's pretty cool.
But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say something. Go ahead.
No, but but the khaki scouts, it cuts back for them kind of just, wandering around, and, they have a destination they're trying to get to. There's a point on the island, and he's kind of teaching her some, some khaki scout stuff, and he's demonstrating that he was actually like a really good khaki scout. And he really knows what he's doing, but he's also testing theories too. There's one scene where he's like, if you put pebbles in your mouth, you can kind of stave off, thirst or something. And then it cuts to a scene of them doing it, and then he spits it out, and he's like, I brought water too.
Yeah. But I think what it is it's kind of a story of misfits in a way, because I think Bruce Willis and Ed Norton and the girl and the boy are all sort of misfits. You got two grown-up misfits, and then and I think they all have something that, they learn from each other and stuff.
Yeah. But so you get to see them doing, kind of traveling along. She's telling him how much she likes books and things like that, and they. There's one kind of a sweet scene where they're at their first campsite the very first night, and like she's telling him about what's she telling? She's telling him about how he she's telling him something, and it makes him laugh at her, and she's like, "You're laughing at me."
Yeah.
And then she runs out and gets in the tent, and he comes over to the tent, and he said, "I'm on your side."
Yeah.
He said,
and she doesn't stay mad at him, which I thought that was a good point. Because they do have a bond, and they immediately get over it and stuff. Because I can't remember exactly what he said, but they're just, it's really cool. I really like that movie.
I'm not going to describe every scene in it. I went down that road because some people may not have seen it, and by now, it's came out in 2012, so everybody, I highly recommend everybody seeing it. But I was just I was trying to work up to the part where the khaki scouts, they finally kind of converge on their location, and you don't really get to see any of the action, but it like cuts from them, kind of pursuing him, and they're kind of taunting each other back and forth, and then they charge like he's like on the high ground up on top of a hill, and they charge the location, and then the next scene cuts directly back, and then all of them are running away from him, and then there's just all kinds of chaos that had happened. Like the dog they came with him ended up getting shot in the neck with an arrow, like from their side, and she stabs one of them in the side with a pair of scissors, and
I like how they did that, where he flashes a picture of scissors for a minute, like at the
Yeah.
point that it happens. I like that they just flash a picture of
Yeah.
scissors and to where they don't actually show it.
And one of the boys is riding a motorcycle, and one of the scenes is that the motorcycle's now in the top of a tree, still running. It's just this chaos that happens, and yeah. I guess he had a BB gun or something with him because they said he shot this other kid. I can't remember the kid's name in the movie, but he said he shot him in both arms. His accuracy is amazing.
Yeah,
It's just
BB. Yeah, I think he had a BB gun, a rifle.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't recreate all the dialogue because it's such good dialogue. It's almost like a Howard Hawks. Just the dialogue interactions between the characters. It's just so crisp and so spot on and just well thought out.
Yeah, and a lot of the supporting cast they're really good, especially the kids. I mean, I've never seen any of the kids in anything else that I can think of, and they're all great. I mean, even down to the kid with one line. I mean, they're all just perfectly. They fit together as this group, And I like how each one's individual. You got the guy. What's that one guy with the one eye? They call him. I can't think of his name. They call him something, but he's got an eye patch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lazy eye.
Lazy eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking, man, I need to go back and watch some of these and stuff. This was actually, I thought of this movie, about us talking about it and watch it and everything, because I thought it was a pretty cool. I'm trying to think if it takes place during the summer or maybe more fall. I don't, maybe the end of summer or something. It looks like maybe the end of summer to me. Maybe.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's during summer break because nobody seems to be going to school. So
yeah,
I think it's what's going on at the church is some kind of like summer pageant. Actually, the pageant's in flashback, so we don't exactly know what time of year that was, but. So, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of like in the summertime because that's like a summer. The khaki scouts would be like a summer, camp kind of thing.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was pretty good, and I hadn't seen it in a while, and I can't believe it's been out for 10 years. It doesn't seem like it's been out that long and stuff, and I think it kind of falls off the radar, even for Wes Anderson's movies. Like a lot of times, people don't bring this one up in particular. I feel like
it's one of the best. It's such a sweet movie. That's what I've always felt about it. It's such a good-hearted movie. It's like all of his movies kind of are. They're not really dark. You don't really delve into dark subject matter, and
they're always good-natured movies. Yeah, they're not like feel-good movies or anything, but they're. Yeah, it's hard to describe it, man. It's hard to describe exactly what a Wes Anderson movie is.
Yeah, Bill Murray's he's great in this movie. He's worked with Bill Murray so much. It's an amazing thing. Rushmore, Life Aquatic.
Yeah, the what do you call it? The Royal Tenenbaums.
Yes, Royal Tenenbaums. Yeah,
Tenenbaums. Yeah,
he had a couple of movies like that where he had more or less kind of bit parts. He didn't have kind of more of a starring role. But I think Bill Murray kind of likes that, as well.
Yeah, they work well together and stuff, and that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just sometimes he is. I mean, if you really think about his work, his visual work, and his writing, and just. It's like when you see it, it's something about it says a Wes Anderson movie. And it's kind of hard to imitate in a way. I mean, I guess you could imitate it, but for some reason, it's just like it's just so well made. It's just so he's so really good at the craft that he does that I don't know. It's.
Yeah, sorry, I about butted in there on you, but the closest emulation to his movies is probably Napoleon Dynamite. That's the only time I've ever seen his directing style sort of emulated. If you think about it, it's kind of got that feel to it.
Yeah, but, yeah. They're completely two different type of. Well,
But
not really, but yeah, no, you're right. That's about the closest I can think of. Also, yeah, that's. But yeah, that's. I don't know. It's hard to describe Wes Anderson, man, as a director. I mean, he's
yeah,
just he has such a visual.
well, he obviously is pretty inspired by. He's obviously pretty inspired by like European and French cinema
Mm-hmm.
heavily, and I'm not saying that because he had that French Dispatch. That's got nothing to do with it. But he has that European feeling to his directing style,
Mm-hmm.
even though he would probably say, "Well, I'm pretty uniquely an American director," which his movies are uniquely American and American stories for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But he's
But
definitely
yeah, he's got that feel. It's got that feel. Man, I can't think of it. It's almost not like it's not like a Goddard movie.
yeah,
It's not exactly a Truffaut, but it's definitely
yeah.
got that feel of a French movie. It's got something to it. I don't know. I
I,
can't really.
I should have done more research. We may have to do some more Wes Anderson stuff. Maybe just a
Oh
whole
yeah.
series just talking about him, which we are in tonight as well. We'll talk about him as much as we know, but I need to read a little bit about him. I can't remember. I've seen some documentaries and stuff, but I've never sat down and read and seen like what movies inspired him. I've
Yeah.
never seen that. He don't really talk about necessarily come out and talk about that stuff as much because if you watch his documentary, some documentaries are like very informative about what's going on, but you don't really like actually the first documentary. I don't know if it's on the DVD or not, but the first documentary on the Blu-ray is this one directed by a Japanese, uh, documentarian, and
Hmm.
and it's actually in subtitle, but it's him shooting behind the scenes on this movie on Moonrise
Hmm.
Kingdom. So it's a it's an interesting documentary. It's just even his stuff on there. So and like all of
Yeah.
but none of his document like the documentary. Some of it's wrote. You got like Bill Murray talking about it, and then you got like uh, excuse me. Well, I went blank. Edward Norton. Edward Norton was talking about it, and but they just kind of talk about the movie. They don't really talk about him, and so I don't really know. So I don't really know what inspired Wes Anderson. He's just well rounded. I think what inspired him. I think a lot in too is American theater, and he's
Yeah.
inspired by that. He's almost trying to bring American theater to,
Hmm.
like maybe Tennessee Williams or something like that to the big screen, almost, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's very 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 lyrical. He even uses music to a certain degree. Like if you've seen
Yeah,
The Life Aquatic, he does all the David Bowie
yeah,
songs redone,
yeah,
in
yeah,
French and stuff.
yeah.
And next to like Tarantino, he kind of uses music a lot and stuff. And
Very much so.
but yeah, it's very theatrical. Some of it, like you can really, it even as the actors perform. Sometimes it almost feels theatrical in a weird way. I wish I had the words to really describe what I'm thinking here, but man, it's just. I mean, he's definitely an original. He's definitely one of our best
Well,
directors.
you guys got to look at his set design and the way he goes about building sets and using models.
Hmm.
He uses that like almost every movie. He uses like a model, and then the way he'll have like a architectural deconstruction of basically of what the set is essentially, and that's how he films. It's like a broken half like house, and
Hmm.
you can travel between each room by just the camera moving up and down
Hmm.
floors and stuff like that. So you see almost this
Yeah,
unnatural viewpoint of like the
yeah,
house. So
yeah.
so that's very theatrical. That's almost like you would do it in a play. You would have like
Hmm.
a subsection of a set piece, and you would see the interior version, and that's it. And that's kind of how he works. He builds interior sets. Like
Hmm.
the parents, like the Susie, her house is like a set. They built it like inside of a warehouse, and it's like they shoot like, and it's kind of like that. There's
Hmm.
different I think it's more conventional where you got maybe like one scene next to each other and not so much them stacked on top of each other. His stacking is done by modeling. Whenever you see him, like there's something going from room to room, like Life Aquatic, like there's a subsectioning of the submarine, and like you can see the different compartments, and it's almost like a model. It's not like the real thing. There's a sense of unrealisticness in some of his set designs, and which I really like. It's almost surreal, almost. Or I don't think it's the correct word. You know, it's kind of maybe that's a good.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean his first movie, Bottle Rocket, really isn't like any of the other things he would do.
Yeah.
Like the visual stuff is more straightforward.
Yeah.
I think it's more the use of the camera and how he's more inventive that way. But then you would see him get more. He would get more. Like you said, use of sets and just interior design and set decoration and just how it's all built. And it always has a good look to it. It has this look that, you know, it just seems like so much goes into this, man. I mean, you almost have to really appreciate the other people that put all this together because, man, it's great. I mean, some people may not look at it like that. They may not even notice little things, but he's just one of those directors, you know.
Yeah, they're kind of all of his movies are, except Bottle Rocket. Bottle Rocket obviously was just. I'm pretty sure that was a student project that ended up getting made. It was a student project between him and, I was talking about not reading much about him. I did read some about him because I did a damn video about him a while back. I forgot all about it, but I did read some about him. But because he did go to he's from Texas. He went to University of Texas, I believe, or in
Austin or Texas.
Austin, yeah, he went to one of those UT or something. And I think he went with the Owen Wilson. Possibly went to the same school. I think they're all from that area. The Wilsons are from like that Austin area. I think they're all kind of in that Texas area from that area. So so obviously Bottle Rocket became like the first movie, and I would say, a movie like Rushmore was way too big budgeted to, it was too inventive to be his first movie, and so they went with just something simple they could sell, and it got him enough attention to make Rushmore, and that would just
went from there,
but shot him to the stars, really.
Yeah, I think with the Royal Tenenbaums, you start seeing the basically the architecture of his whole design, with sets and the characters and camera movement and just all like everything we're talking about. And then from there on, each movie's just grown into this whole. He really creates a whole world. I mean, it's funny that he's made some animated type movies where they're stop motion type ones, because it's almost like that's what he does in real life. He just kind of, I don't know, man. It's like it's amazing.
The Fantastic Mr. Fox and the Isle of Dogs are. There's probably a lot of people that Isle of Dogs would be one of them they would probably consider one of their least favorites. But if you watch it a couple times, it's pretty brilliant. It's just subtitled. It's harder to follow for people, and I always thought it's a very wonderful movie. It's just very interesting. Yeah.
Just the way he went about it, and then doing it in Japanese. I thought that made it a little more authentic and stuff, Because I think if it was made like for, say, Disney or for, I don't know, DreamWorks or a company like that, they would have insisted it be in English, probably. You know what I mean? But I'm not even sure who he did that. What company? They may have done it through those companies, not Disney, but I don't know. They really let him go. They let him do his thing. I don't think he gets a lot of interference or anything.
They've never done a Criterion for the Isle of Dogs. Not yet. It's kind of weird. they did finally release the Grand Budapest Hotel. They've been slowing down. They used to, as soon as he had a movie, like the first release was Criterion, and now it's like even the French Dispatch. It just got released to this generic old Blu-ray, and it didn't really look. The transfer didn't look that good. I was like, what the heck's going on? They could at least put it in 4K.
Yeah,
It would deserve that. It didn't make any sense. I guess it came out during the pandemic. People weren't going to see it anyways. I mean, it's going to have a limited release no matter what, which kind of sucks. That shows you how much people really, just don't appreciate. And it's not. And the thing is about his movies, they're not high art. They're comedies. They're funny. It might be a little bit above the normal person's, intelligence, really, in a way.
Yeah, the average movie type of thing,
Yeah, it's just an average, moviegoer, but they're hilarious movies. I've turned so many people onto them. That's never really watched his movies. I could say you could probably walk up to probably 10 people and in a crowd and ask about Wes Anderson, and nobody would know who he was.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. I would say. I mean,
it depends what kind of crowd you're in.
Well, it's interesting, man. Talk about Criterion. I think when they released Royal Tenenbaums, it was only as a Criterion, wasn't it? Like it came out, because I remember seeing it in the rental stores and stuff, and it was only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think I bought that the day it came out on DVD. That's been a while ago.
Yeah. They did that, and then I think Kevin Smith's Chasing Amy was like an only on Criterion.
Yeah.
At that time and stuff, which I thought that was pretty cool back then.
Well, I think some of his other movies were Criterion only. Like just about all of them up until around Grand Budapest Hotel, and then they kind of stopped releasing them. On the Criterion at first. I don't know if that's just a money thing or sales for his movies dropped, but that don't make any sense for Criterion not wanting to release it, because they're kind of thrive in that little smaller market. So
yeah, I would say they had a good partnership. I mean, I think they both understand each other and appreciate each other, and yeah, I mean, that is true. I wonder what happened with that. It may just be.
Did he change? I wonder if he changed studios or something, and the studios didn't have a relationship with Criterion.
It seemed like he worked with 20th Century Fox and Touchstone Pictures, and he's Sony and stuff like that.
Is his company Indian Paintbrush? Because that always comes up in this movie. Yeah,
I want to say I want to say.
Yeah,
because I remember seeing that logo last night. I can't remember if it is.
I think it is.
Yeah, because like Moonlight Kingdom, the main thing. This is through Universal. I mean, it's a Universal released it, or at least it's got the logo here. But I don't remember seeing Universal come on though. It's a Focus Features.
It's probably just the Focus Features. Focus it's like a subsidiary of Universal, isn't it?
Well,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 20th Century Fox at one time, but I don't know. Maybe it's switched.
Well, it might have got sold off whenever Disney bought Fox. They may have sold Focus to another company, Universal or something.
Yeah, because you got. Was it Fox Searchlight, which obviously that's going to be 20th Century Fox, but the Searchlight, I saw that recently on a newer movie. I don't know, was it oh God, was it Licorice Pizza? I can't think of what it was. It was
might have been.
Of those.
Yeah. Since we're going to have a short night tonight, what did you think about Licorice Pizza? We're going to have a Wes Anderson Part 2, maybe not as a Summervision, but we need to just do kind of, since we're such big Wes Anderson fans, we need to have like one night. We're going to have kind of a short show this evening because I can't stay on as late tonight. I apologize to everybody, but next week we'll try to be back. Actually, I don't know. Mike, forgot to tell you. I think I've got to look at my schedule. I think I might not be able to do next Thursday
Okay.
because have to do my eye thing that
Hmm.
day, and I'm not sure if I'll feel up to it
Yeah.
or
Oh,
not.
that's fine.
So
Yeah, that's that.
I'll double check and make sure. I'm not positive yet. I'll have
Mhm.
to look, but
Yeah, that's a good idea about Wes Anderson, man. Maybe we should do like two at a time. That way we can
yeah,
kind of contrast and kind of go back because we end up bringing the other movies up anyway. So um,
yeah,
maybe do something like that.
yeah.
That way, it'll
But
give me an excuse to rewatch his movies again. So
what do you think about Licorice Pizza?
I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely a movie I want to watch again to catch some stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but there's some really good set pieces. I thought, like usually in his movies, there's a good set piece where he does something. The part where she's driving the moving truck backwards in reverse
Yeah,
all that time. I mean, that was a really good scene. I mean, that was the way they did it, and it was very believable. Um, but yeah, there that relationship between them two, the two main characters,
yeah,
um, like so many times you just wanted them to just say drop drop their own personal BS and just
yeah.
get together, and stuff. And
Well, it's kind of a like a back and forth, like it's a back and forth relationship. It's really odd, It's like she's like playing. They slowly throughout the movie realize that they're like right for each other. They're attracted to each other. I mean, they know throughout the movie, but like one or the other, like it's like she kind of like goes out on him at the very beginning, and it kind of turns him off, and it like makes him more cautious towards her, I believe.
mhm.
So he tries to kind of, in a very subtle way, like kind of get back at her when he can, and kind of poke at her that way. But they're kind of always together.
Yeah,
It's kind of an It's a very interesting relationship. The
yeah,
dynamic of that really.
yeah. I'm trying to get my thoughts about it because I just watched it, but like
Yeah,
like she's a little bit older, and I think, but at the same time, she's not as successful for her
yeah,
age. So
yeah,
it kind of puts her with him, but he's very ambitious,
yeah,
and it's like she's wanting something more out of life, and he can't
yeah.
really give that to her. But she ends up coming back to him because they're, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to get the feel for their relationship and some of the stuff. I thought it was really good.
But
Um,
he's tried. But I think because of him, she tries to go out and start doing something. They. I mean, she's always a working. She's working, but she's not doing it. She's just kind of just doing odd jobs essentially, and he's trying to aspire for like a large. He's trying to be an actor, and
mhm.
yeah, and in that whole it's so there's like very subtle scenes. There's the scene where he goes into audition.
Mhm.
He goes into audition for a role, and like when he's in the waiting room, obviously there's a bunch of kids there, and he's obviously grown out of, like, he's always was a child actor and
Yeah.
was like the cute kid who could get commercials. He's obviously too old, and like all the people when he goes into audition, they all know him from
Mhm.
years, I guess, from years and years of auditioning and being in, doing things.
Mhm.
And and they all are looking at him funny, and you can see they don't have to say anything, and you can see the expressions on his face that he knows that he's not, no matter how good he does, he's not going to get the role because he's too old at this point, and he has that kind of that realization at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like they're both slightly
Yeah,
past their prime, or some, I don't know, it's some little bit because like he should be maybe moving. That's why he kind of moves on and does these other things. He's
yeah,
not really taking acting so serious, but he still
yeah,
tries. He even
yeah,
tries to get her to act and
yeah,
stuff, and they're just not very successful at some of the stuff they try to do. But them together really work together well.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
interesting. I'm still trying to get all my thoughts together about it. That's why I want to watch it again. But I did. I really enjoy it though. I thought it was.
There's some wild characters in this. I can't think of his name. He's in all the.
Mm.
You know the guy that owns the Chinese restaurant or the Japanese restaurant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's his name? What's the actor's name? I can't think of his name.
Oh, I don't know. He looks so familiar, but
He's in that other director. A lot of his movies, like A Mighty Wind and all that stuff. The guy that did
oh,
he why
what's
am
his?
I forgetting his name?
It's
I'm stupid.
no, it's it's on
Everybody,
the tip.
people watching out there, everybody's screaming. If
It's
we
on the
got
tip of my.
comments over here, if you guys want to comment, but
Oh God, what's his name,
sorry,
man? I'm thinking of like all the roles he's been in. I can't think of his name. Oh, Christopher Guest.
Christopher Guest. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, thank you. But he's in a lot of those movies. But that's the most hilarious thing ever. Like in there where he talks like this. He don't like his wife's Japanese and he can't understand her, and he talks back to her in like this cockamamie. It's not even. It's just like it's like pig Japanese. He doesn't even. It's just. It's like, well, it's like a stereotype. Somebody's stereotyping a
Yeah,
Japanese person. This
yeah.
kind of stuff, and that's what he's doing, and
Yeah,
that's
I
how he
noticed
talks
that.
to him. And there's a scene where he addresses it. He's like, they ask, well, what did she say? And he's like, I don't know. I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah, he's got that like accent going on. I thought that was hilarious. Actually, it was like, did he really? Is he? At first, I'm thinking, why is he talking like that? Why,
It
why is he doing that? It's funny though.
Licorice Pizza to me, I don't know about you. If you watch it again, I picked this up when saw it in the theater. I feel like it doesn't, even though the movie's really, I think it's good, but it's almost a collection of scenes that were written. It doesn't feel like it has necessarily good connecting points from going scene to scene. It's kind of it's edited maybe to be like that, but I feel
Mm.
like there's something missing. You know what? I don't know if
Yeah,
you.
yeah. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like getting my thoughts together about it overall. But it seems like it's like a yeah, like you said. There's a collection of like vignettes of them doing some stuff together,
Yeah,
and it's not like there's
it
not a
has
goal. Like there's no
it
real
has an
goal.
odd flow. It has an odd flow.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah, but it's one of those movies you can come back to and stuff. But I don't want to try to compare it to any of his other movies. But it's
Well,
got that.
yeah, you something like production wise, as far as the directorial part of it, it feels like Inherent Vice.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in Inherent Vice, I don't know if the guy wrote. I'm forgetting his name. The guy wrote Inherent Vice. He's wrote a bunch of books, but
Hmm.
I don't know if that inspired him. Like because Inherent Vice is it's odd. But the book's like that. It's a good
Hmm.
book, but it's an odd movie. It's a very odd story. It's
Yeah,
almost a Big Lebowski almost kind of story in a way. It's kind of
yeah,
got that hippie vibe. I mean, it's obviously the main character is a hippie,
yeah,
self-proclaimed hippie detective.
yeah,
But that's what Big Lebowski is. He's a detective. Supposedly, it's supposed to be a detective story.
yeah.
So
But see, like it's yeah, that's interesting because like, and then he did what was it the one about the uh the oh gosh what's it
you can you can almost you could
well
almost go
yeah,
ahead.
it's a
You,
lot different than say the master, the master,
yeah.
and then the other one where he's a designer, clothes designer. I can't think of the
Uh,
title.
Phantom Thread.
Yeah, Phantom Thread, like they're
Yeah,
totally different movies, and
yeah,
but in those, especially Phantom Thread, you can see a beginning and end, and you can see,
yeah,
and I think that has a lot to do with the actors. The actors really
yeah.
carry that through. So maybe this movie with new actors that really haven't acted in anything before, maybe it
That's
gives it a looseness to it or something. because I mean,
that's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. You know that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's
The,
really good. I think he's
yeah.
going to be a good actor as he
Hmm.
grows and stuff. Um, I mean, and that's
Hmm.
not too bad to show up in, a P.T. Anderson movie as one of your first movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
think with I mean they're good actors, but I think I don't know. It's something about it. I don't know, man. It kind of like you hit it on the nail.
It's got
The
a
way it
wonky
flows.
flow. It's got a wonky flow
Yeah.
to it. It don't make it makes sense, but it doesn't at the same time. It's not out of order or anything like that. It's just you have to see it to understand what we're talking about. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, it's hard to explain. Somebody else say, well,
Well,
this might be like this kind of film. This might be,
well,
I
well.
don't
Think
know.
about think about the scene where they're outside the political office, and you got that one guy that's like standing out there, and
Yeah,
he's like making everybody nervous, which was reminiscent of Taxi Driver to me a
yeah.
little bit. But like, there's really no payoff on that, really, because it's like I thought
W-
he was gonna go like try to hurt the guy or something, and but then again, it's like, but was he associated with that other guy? I don't know,
Well, he's
that
a
boyfriend person or whoever it is.
it's a very light insinuation, but they don't. It's one of those things where that's how a lot of the movie is. There's a lot of they don't really explain things. You just got to
Mm,
figure it out, and you got to
right.
really think about it. And which that's the difference between Wes Anderson, PT. I think he does things subtly, and you kind of understand what's happening.
Mm,
And what in this movie, and this isn't always the case for P.T. Anderson. He's
mm,
wrote some brilliant movies,
mm,
and but this movie, that's why I keep saying I think it's supposed to be like that. But that character you're talking about, he shows up in the very end in that diner scene. They pass by him, so I think he's supposed to be like an uh, undercover news person. Excuse me. Why am I going blank on it?
oh,
Um,
like
a journalist. He's like
a
an
journalist.
undercover
Yeah.
journalist, and I think he's trying to expose the fact that this person is,
Oh yeah.
homosexual.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I
And I
can.
think that's what's going on there because that's why she has to leave with his boyfriend, so he doesn't look like
Oh yeah. Okay.
so they're not leaving together. He doesn't, he's like doesn't want to be seen
Mm,
with him. See, and that's such a weird scene. I mean, that's when she comes to the realization that she wants to be with him, the main character.
yeah.
At
Yeah.
that point, whenever the gay guy's like he's in this shitty situation where the other guy doesn't want to be seen in public with him,
Hmm.
and he just wants to be with him, and it makes her think, I just want to be with him, even though, and that's kind of weird. But that's how the movie ends. They come together. They kind of it's one of those running towards each other kind of scenes where they come
Yeah.
together, and it's
Yeah. I
it,
was when I was watching that, man. I was hoping like don't get hit by a car or something. I hope that's not. I don't. I was like, no, he's not going to end the movie like that. That would be kind of lame. But
you know,
it was almost like that. It was building this tension, but you know.
yeah, it feels like it's like maybe there was more to it, and or there was something else, and they just decide to cut the movie short. It just kind of ends a little too abruptly.
Yeah, I wonder if there's more to it, like a longer cut of the movie, with some
Yeah,
other scenes, maybe to expand on it just a little bit, maybe flesh it out a little bit more, so you're like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, I get all those little nuances and stuff.
yeah,
I don't need it laid out in front of me like this is what's happening, but some of the stuff I kind of it went over me, or I didn't pay attention to it that well, or something. But that's why I want to watch it again, just to see some of the. I'm going to watch some of the stuff in the background more and see what's going on, and because I don't know, that's what's good about his movies. They're made to
yeah,
be rewatched and stuff, and
yeah. This doesn't. I've watched it in the theater, and I think I've watched it since one time since I got the Blu-ray,
mhm.
it's just. It just feels like scenes like they don't really flesh themselves out like some
Mhm.
things, which they don't have to. That's why I kind of like it as well. That's the thing. It's like I'm not condemning it because of it's like this. It's just that's how it is, but I don't know if that's what. I just don't know if there's something that caused it to be like this, or he wasn't able to, or he filmed a bunch of stuff, and that's what, he just was left with this kind of stuff, and the kind of cuts and things and the different scenes. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just an
yeah,
odd, kind of an odd thing.
yeah. It's loose, it's loose, and I don't know. Maybe that's what it
Yeah,
is. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with you, man. Totally. It's like I'm not saying, but like at the end of say Boogie Nights or Magnolia, where you feel like, man, you just got punched after watching
yeah,
that movie. Like it really hits you. Like wow,
yeah,
and then some of the other movies and stuff. But that one kind of left me like, okay, well, I'm glad they finally got together, but it's like something. There's just something missing. That maybe I need to watch it again, and something will occur to me. But just on first watch, it's like it kind of left me like feeling like there's something missing. There's something
yeah.
I didn't catch or something. But I don't know.
I've watched some of the special features, but I can't remember all the stuff going on in what they were talking about. It seemed like they're fairly thorough special features. It's got a decent
Hmm.
documentary on it, but I
Yeah.
don't think it really reveals anything. That's why I feel like it's kind of it's. I think it could be like a liberal thing. It could be this liberal thing where like, well, we don't really care if they don't get it. Some people are stupid; they're not going to get kind of thing. Wouldn't think he would go there, but
Mm.
there's people
Well,
in like weird. There's people in like weird places right now, especially in Hollywood.
yeah.
So I
I,
don't think he would go there. But
yeah.
it just doesn't feel like it. Just feels like I can't explain it. It's just something missing with it.
Yeah,
Just
it's weird. I mean, I know they filmed it during COVID and stuff. They were making it during COVID, and everything
you know,
was kind of everybody was feeling weird, and they're
yeah.
trying to work and stuff. But I think it has something to do with the script. I don't think it's the performances. I think the performances
Yeah.
are all great. I think the characters know who they are, and they're confident and all that. It's just something with the script is something's just not
Well, it's like
exactly right.
it's like he had a notebook of scenes that he had written,
Hmm.
and he's like, "I'll make a movie out of these scenes." He might have had a contract, and it's during COVID, and he didn't really want to make a movie, but they're like, "Well, you got this contract, so you got to make something."
Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes that stuff happens in Hollywood.
Well,
You know,
sometimes, man, like movies that are like this, in 10 years from now, it becomes a cult hit, a major
oh yeah.
hit. And people are like,
Oh,
you know,
I mean, I think it's a great movie now. I
mhm,
think it's a good movie, but it's just something, you know, watching a lot of movies, it's just, you especially if, like us, watch a lot of old movies. Those movies are meticulously put together, and
mhm,
they have good flow and everything. And this movie just feels like it just doesn't exactly gel together.
exactly.
It's,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
the
That's,
scenes don't. It's
it's,
called coverage. It's called coverage
yeah.
in filming. I'm sorry I keep cutting you off, but I keep having things pop in my head. But it's like coverage. It's like the coverage between scenes. It's just not correct. It's just not there.
Mhm,
All there.
yeah. Maybe, and I don't think know if it's necessary or anything, but like the backstory to maybe the parents and stuff, like, you know, who are these characters? Why are they like that? I mean, I guess we
Yeah.
kind of picked that up about him. He was a child actor. Now he's kind of outgrown his thing, and he's trying to succeed, and he's having more success out of the acting range when he puts his head towards something to do it. And
Yeah.
she's like more successful when she's following
Well.
this younger guy, and I think she
Well.
feels guilty for hanging out with this younger guy all the time, and
Well, you got to look at
yeah.
something too. He's like the father figure in the household. His dad's no longer around, and he's got a little brother, and and his mom's gone all the time. The mom is like gone, so he's like the parent so he is actually had to grow up faster. So I think that's why he's trying to be a success, so he can make sure his little brother has food on the
Mm,
table. I think you kind of get There's kind of like a good bond between him and his little brother, and his brother. See, that's all the subtle stuff that's in there that you just don't. It don't hit you in the face. You got to think about it, and that's kind of the brilliant thing behind it. At the same time, I don't know if it's good or bad writing. It's not bad writing. It's just not.
Well, and it's
you shouldn't have to spoon feed your audience. You shouldn't have to, but this day and age, you do.
You could tell that. Like, you could tell that, like the little brother, just in his subtle acting and stuff, when he looks at him certain times and stuff, and it really conveys what's going on, and it shows they're really close, and that, like you said, he is kind of a fatherly figure to him and stuff, and he pretty much follows him. You know, like if he needs him to do something, he's there for his brother and stuff. But yeah, I thought even the smaller roles were really put together well and stuff. So I don't know, maybe it's just a movie we need to see a couple more times and be like, oh man, I totally feel differently now because I saw this part.
I think he almost wants you just to hyper focus on the main two characters, and everybody else is like a blur in the background. You don't think about them, even though some of those characters, like her parents, are like obviously like kind of a close-knit, overbearing Jewish family, you know, like where all the sisters still live at home, like all of them, and they're all like older than her. She's like in her like mid to late 20s. She's like 26 or something in the movie.
Yeah.
And like she has like two older sisters that still, and they all fight, and she's like, and they all fight like crazy. But I mean, they're like, they live in this small house. There's like 6 or 7 people in this house, and it's just this crazy madness going on at home. So she's fighting against this, and
she's just trying to breathe and make her own way. And I think and plus she's the youngest and stuff, and I think she doesn't want to follow the sisters and work for the father and do all that stuff.
She wants a way out, and she sees him as a way out because he's ambitious and could possibly be successful in the future, or at least provide her a way out of her.
Yeah. I noticed that, like, with her wanting to get with the politician guy, like I could see, maybe that's something, so but then she has to kind of come to the realization that, I don't need that. I need this guy who's got a big heart. And all that stuff. So.
Well, it's kind of weird, but that's kind of a weird storyline coming from, I don't know how liberal he is really. He's married to Maya Rudolph, who's in the movie, but I don't think they do a lot of outspoken things, but I assume they're fairly liberal from Hollywood and just kind of the circle they're in. But I don't know their exact circle, and they could be in a devil worship cult. I don't know, but.
He's a big fan of like Hollywood, and stuff. So I think he looks at like the writers of the past, and I think he's coming at it. Well, he's a solid writer, he really is, and he's a solid director and stuff. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I mean, you can't make Boogie Nights every movie, and you can't make, Hard 8.
No, I have no problem with what's going on, Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just one of those movies, man. I'll be glad to watch it a couple more times, and stuff. It'll grow on you, I guess. But I mean, it satisfied me. But at the same time, I don't know. It's like I'm not jumping up and down about it. It's like I'm satisfied. It's like, yeah, that was good. But then I'm not like, So.
But I lost my train of thought a second ago. But what she's doing, women have the luxury of kind of shopping around for men. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what she's kind of doing. She's trying to go to the next best thing, and she don't realize the best thing is right in front of her.
Yeah.
She's trying to find the easier road, but don't realize the best road is in front of her, and she finally comes to that realization at the end. And that's kind of a weird liberal thing, especially in this instant. If you look at it in the 70s when the movie takes place, not so much. But if you look at it in modern times, that's not so much modern thinking. Like the left don't really think like that. They don't
That's
think
true, yeah.
relationships are like that. So,
But I think also, you know, she was a headstrong person, and I think she had her own personal beliefs of what she wants out of life and
hmm
everything. And I think she had to question everything with being with him, and she had to constantly like, I got to change a little bit because I got to change to what I've been wanting and thinking to have what
yeah,
makes me happy, you know, and stuff. So I think that's kind of it in a nutshell, I guess.
yeah. Well, Mike, I'm gonna have to get off here. I hate to end it early tonight, but uh, if we'll talk about it during the week. But we were planning on doing if uh, we were planning on doing an Independence Day ID4, you
Hmm.
know, one of these. So that's probably going to be next week. We'll talk about it, Mike, next week. If you can do it on a different night or something, maybe we can do it
Yeah.
on a different night and
Yeah, that's
still
cool.
do it
Yeah.
Wednesday or Friday night or something. Friday night's probably busy for you, but
Sometimes it is, yeah. But yeah,
just
we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll
okay.
figure it out, and we'll just do
Because it's
because it's getting close to
yeah.
4th of July. Yeah. So
So bummed that this doesn't have a slipcase. Why they released this with no slipcase?
yeah, I heard somebody's review of it today, and they pointed that out, and I was just like, but they said it was pretty decent. It's the best it's ever looked on home video. Is
That's
what I
good.
heard. So
Yeah, I haven't sit down and watched it yet, so
yeah, yeah.
planning on doing
Okay,
that
man.
next couple of days. But we appreciate you guys stepping in and stopping by tonight, and hope you guys come back next week. And hopefully, here in a couple of weeks, we'll have our own channel. It'll be up and going. You guys can go stop by there and subscribe, and we'll start doing our shows over there.
Yep. Sounds good, man.
We might have to do them all three like this, because it seems like it's going to do pretty good doing them all three for a while
Yeah.
till we get it up and going. So,
Might get it out
yeah.
there a little bit more.
Well,
Yeah.
make sure you guys subscribe, and share. I'm tongue tied tonight. Subscribe, and share to both of our channels.
Hmm.
This channel you guys are watching on is Slow IQ Media. I'm messing around with that Disc a Go Go thing. It's probably going to be a different YouTube channel, and make sure you guys check out Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays at Dag Films on YouTube and
Hmm.
Instagram. We appreciate you guys stopping by tonight, and thank you for listening to us talk more about about PT Anderson probably than Wes Anderson. So
Yeah.
thanks for
It's
stopping by. We'll
it's
talk to you
Anderson's.
later.
Yep. Later.